I'm live. I can't believe it. This thing did not want to go live. I have no idea why it didn't. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to talk about the Second Amendment today. Kind of a weird one from my perspective. I came from Dallas and Chicago. I started hating guns like you would not believe. Thought they were a waste of time. I worked with gang use and everything to get them away from guns. I mean, like, it was the biggest thing for me not to have one. And then, lo and behold, we got into the COVID season and things just got dangerous. And I do mean dangerous. So I had to think about it for a second. My family's going to be out. I'm going to be out. I run around with anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 worth of equipment, and people are stealing things like crazy. That wasn't very good. And then, of course, we had the well, mostly peaceful shit, which really wasn't that peaceful. It was bad actually. It sucked because in Seattle I never thought I'd have to deal with it. I'm from Dallas and Chicago, so I was used to stupid violence. I didn't expect it here, and it was so good that when I moved here when I was like 16 years old, that I never ever thought that a firearm or anything would be in my future. I thought at the time. That being said, um, no now. Um, no real desires for like any encounter, just knowing that I have the protection and train. So that's just part of having it. That and the fact that if you can permit the Second Amendment, you can permit the First Amendment. And I don't want our ability to do press on YouTube or anything else to have a permit just to have it possible. That's just ridiculous. Or going to church or anything like that. That being said, let's talk about the journey. For me, was a lot of reading, a lot of learning about what it would take to become an owner, especially in the state of Washington. So one of the things that I personally did is I went through the full background check for the concealed pistol license. I thought it was actually a good journey to understand what they would do. So they fingerprint you, they gather some information. It takes like 30 days to complete, which I get my that and kind of move forward. Went to a place called Securities, which is a really cool place out in Woodinville. I shot at a bunch of different places, but Securities was the best one because they actually put you through a training course and have you sit down with an instructor and room and you over what you're going to do safety wise and go from there. Their range masters was cool. That's the person who runs the range, and they would just walk you through all the stuff it takes. They like, teach you how to hold a handgun properly and all those things. That being said, I was really, really astonished about what you can do and what you can't do. And as I became an owner and went through probably close to 1,000 rounds of ammunition, learned how to fire a firearm, I started to understand why people carry it and why they desire to have it because it changes the way you react in situations. And that's the cool part. Let me give you a situation that happened to me, and I think you'll understand where this kind of changed me. Doesn't mean it's going to change everybody; it's just changed me. I was at I was there, Fifth or Sixth and Pike Street. I was heading off to a job, and we were just getting ready to do some video and some photo. Nothing spectacular, just doing our thing. And in doing such, some weird little protest came out of nowhere that blocked the road. And I was like, "Come on, guys, get out the way, man! I got to get to the job. Y'all are just in the way." Blah 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 blah. You're not even sanctioned protest, but it's cool. Just move so people can get to where they need to go. Don't block the streets. And one of the guys was cool. I mean, he was really cool. But another bike person just rode his bike around to my window and just started screaming, cussing, and stuff like that. Now, before I had a firearm, I would, bluster up and be like, "Get out of my face!" And the confrontation escalates. Now that I have one and I've got a concealed pistol license, the first thing I did is I looked around and observed the situation. Now that sounds different. Now notice I said I first looked around and observed the situation. I didn't go for my gun. I didn't go for any of that. I knew I was safe because I had one. And I started observing the situation. I saw two cops from me about a block away. I waved at them. None of them came over, and this guy was still in my face. So I was like, okay, cool, cool, cool. This sucks. Kept asking the guy to get out of my face. Now, here's the thing. I stayed calm. The other guy just screaming like a fool. And I looked over at his buddy and I was like, man, this is what makes you look bad. And the weirdest part about the whole thing was the whole situation to me, I was more worried about if I had to hurt the guy versus my safety. And that made a big difference. Now, that doesn't mean I was going to use it or anything like that. If he had stuck his head in and started grabbing in, yeah, I would have. But other than that, I mean, I was just like chill. I was more chill than I've ever been. And that was kind of a different feeling. A few years before that, I've had an incident, of course, someone being stupid around me. And I was blustering because I'm 6'2", well above 250. So I've got the size and I can just be intimidating. But rifle, which I do hunt every once in a while, but that wasn't a self-defense thing. That's just my cousin hunts, and he was like, "Can you come out hunting with me?" So I have one hunting rifle, so Remington 308. That thing is freaking wow, like almost a mile away and you can hit things. So I mean, it's like that long barreled scope. That's a scary gun. AR-10 doesn't scare me because you're a quarter of that range, and basically aiming with it's not as easy, in my opinion, as it is with a rifle from long range. So two entirely different things. Plus, the way the impact's on your shoulder, no one's going to get off more than 2 or 3 rounds. So it's like, whatever. You'd have to be a gigantic person to withstand it. And then, of course, the home defense shotgun, but that's something I've had picked up later because it was like, oh, that's something that seemed like a fun, cool thing to do. I tried that out. So yeah, you kind of grab a few extra things, but none of it was for like I'm going to carry every day. As a matter of fact, as someone who does have a concealed pistol license, as someone who does have a pistol, I rarely carry unless I go into Seattle. I mean, our office is in Seattle. It's in Soto area, and unfortunately, they have an issue there, and a lot of drugs, a lot of crimes, a lot of theft, and a lot of person-to-person shit. So unfortunately, yeah, I do carry there. And that's the only place. Now I go like West Seattle and stuff like that, I don't carry there. If I go hiking, I carry just because there's a bear or something. But other than that, no. So this is just an idea from someone who really did not want guns when moved away from Chicago and Dallas to during COVID, as things got bad, I made the decision that it's time to have one. And I found that after training and everything, I just do some at-home training stuff, and they have specialized tools you can get for that. It saves you from going from the firing range, and half the time I'm watching a show and I do that, and the rest of the time it's chill. It's in a safe with locks and everything on it. Which, yeah, I do recommend get locks for all of them. So if you've got any gun in your house, have a lock on it, unless it's in your safe. And if it's in your safe for quick access, that's another thing for self-defense. But if it's going to be in any way, shape, or form accessible to people, get a lock on it. That's about it. All right, gotta go. Peace. Bye bye now.